Vermont Governor Phil Scott joins us tonight. Governor, thanks very much for coming in.
Well, thanks for having me on.
It's only a couple of days old now, but do you like what you are hearing so far regarding Trump Care?
Well, it's difficult, though. There's more questions than answers at this point in time, but my team is working on this, trying to figure out what it's going to mean for Vermont. At first blush, not good news in its present form. We're hoping for some changes.
What worries you most?
The lack of funding, the loss of virtually hundreds of millions of dollars to Vermont, as well as displacing many who are on Medicaid to force them on to other insurance that they can't afford.
Is there going to be a significant budget impact, or do you know yet?
It's hard to say. I mean, they're saying by 2020, which is literally right around the corner in some respects, but this won't have an effect this year, but in future years it will.
Your healthcare team is going to have a briefing tomorrow on what this is going to mean for individual Vermonters. We now have about 4% uninsured. Do you think that number is going to climb if this thing passes?
Well, if in its present form, and I just want to caution everyone, this is the House proposal. Just like the Vermont legislature, there's a Senate as well, and so there's opportunities for some changes along the way.
Other rumblings from Washington suggest that Environmental Protection Agency funding could be dramatically scaled back under this new administration. Senator Leahy said as much last week. Could impact Lake Champlain cleanup in a big way.
Well, again, when we are, as a state, we have about half of our budget is funded by the federal government. So any changes to federal spending affects us in some way. This EPA funding proposal could have an effect on us as well.
Of course, Vermont held town meeting elections this week. We saw about 90% of school budgets pass. Only 18 rejected. Do you read a message out of that? Do you see voters expressing discontent with the level of spending?
Well, I think there's been discontent for a number of years in terms of property taxes. I think if you had a vote tomorrow and ask the question, do you want your property taxes to continue to rise, I'd say it would be a resounding no. There seems to be a disconnect between school spending and property taxes, which is a direct relationship, but there's a disconnect.
So what message do you take from town meeting?
Well, it's a small percentage of Vermonters who actually vote, which is unfortunate. Over the years, when you've seen it's been about 23, 24, 25% voter turnout, I expect it's going to be about the same this year, but we're waiting to see those numbers. But again, it's just this apathy, disconnect. People don't associate their school spending with property taxes, but it's a direct relationship.
Some of the presidential inspiration issues that we saw at town meeting with sanctuary cities, with expressions of support for protecting immigrants, and that presidential transparency bill that passed in almost every town in which it was proposed, forcing the future presidential candidates to release their tax returns. Do you support that idea?
Well, in concept, I think that we should be transparent, but forcing this upon a future candidate, I think that they should spend more time trying to ask their candidates to bring out their tax returns, and if they don't, maybe they should vote against them. But to have this as a constitutional amendment of some sort, I don't think it makes any sense.
All right, the legislature returns to Montpelier after the town meeting recess next week. Will you have some new budget ideas to propose to the Democrats?
Well, they've, I presented a budget that was balanced, lived within its means, that doesn't raise taxes and fees. I was comfortable with that proposal. The House has taken that proposal and utilized many of the spending provisions that I saw, the cost-saving measures, and that's good news. But we have a little ways to go.
Finally, you were in Toronto this week for your second foreign trip in your young governorship. You met the Premier of Ontario.
I did.
Where are our opportunities there?
It's amazing when you go to Toronto, especially you look at Quebec and Ontario. Two right above us have a lot to offer. Toronto is the fourth largest city in North America. It's the fastest growing city in North America. There are so many opportunities. It's fertile ground for us, and we should take advantage of our neighbors to the north in Quebec and in Ontario for trade, for tourism, And I think there's many, many benefits where we can work together.
Governor Phil Scott, pleasure to have you with us. Thanks very much for stopping by.
Thank you very much for having me on.
We appreciate it.